Hello all, welcome. I'm Method in the Discord chat and I'm here to show you how to install a new ArcaneOs Fluxnode. We've got a little Cumulus node set up here. The only thing it is missing is an EFI disk, so I will add that now. I just wanted to do this to stress that when you set up an EFI disk, you must untick pre-enroll keys. If you leave that ticked, it will not work and you'll have to start again. So you'll also note here we're using UEFI, it won't work without that, and we also need a TPM version 2. So we've got everything we need here. We've got the latest ISO image. This is a dev image that will get released in a day or two. Let's get started. So we'll pass the grub menu now, so this will take 10 to 15 seconds to load up the installer. You'll also notice I'm on Proxmox 8.4.1 here. This is the latest version out. There's been some good upgrades between 7 and 8, so it's worth updating. And you can do it excuse me, via the command line. It's relatively straightforward and it's definitely worth doing. So you'll notice on this version we now have the actual version of the installer, which is helpful. If your installer version gets behind, you can know that, hey, I'm not on the latest version anymore. And this version now will install update immediately to the latest version once you get through the installer. So it means that you don't have to keep updating the ISO version as we make updates to the ISO. So I'm just going to run through most of this relatively quickly. I will stop here for a moment though. This is your console password. So this is the password that you use to log in via the Proxmox console. The username is literally console. You must remember this password. Do not forget it. You cannot change it. If you forget it, you want to log in via the console, you'll need a reinstall. Okay, so you can set up your network here. We don't need to do that because I'm just going to use DHCP. And we can pick a port here. So I'm just going to pick that one. We can reserve it, which actually goes out to your router and puts in a request for that port. So it means that no other IP can now go and snake your UPnP port for now. So we're going to select that disk. Actually, I'll go back. You can actually use multiple disks. You don't just have to use one disk. So if you're on a physical machine and say you've got a couple of 100 gig drives or whatever, you can just put them all in and it'll create a LVM across those disks. But if you're on a VM, there's not really any point in doing that. Cool, we'll just run the installer now. This takes a couple of minutes. It's longer depending on the type of node, so Nimbus or a Stratus will take more time as there's more disk to provision. Cool, so that's the disk is now provisioned. This is for the UEFI boot menu, so it adds some stuff in there. So we're going to reboot now and we're going to go into firmware. You can skip it if you're provisioning over the top of an existing Arcane node, but since this is a fresh node, we need to go to the firmware menu and load the platform key. Okay, so we're just going to go in and sorry if I'm a bit fast here. I've done this a few times. Cool, so that's done. And now we'll actually load into the OS on the disk. So you can see we've got secure boot running and it has authenticated our kernel image. Now we're dialing up. And you get the installer here. So you can use the secure tunnel. I'll just enable it so you can see what it does. So we've got a decentralized Flux app running on the Flux network. So this allows you to tunnel into your node over the internet, over a secure AES encrypted connection. It's only available for 1 hour. So if you enable it, you need to do it within an hour or it'll automatically disconnect. We're not going to use that right now. I may as well just use it anyway. So I've got a QR code reader. I'm not sure if you can see this whole thing, but I will QR code read that, and you probably won't be able to see this whole screen when I click it. So that'll auto log you in. So we're on the Fluxmole app here. I'll see if I can drag it down. See, that's a bit amateur hour there, but you can see fluxmole.app. So this is running over the internet, tunneled back in to the private IP. So the node actually reaches out to this app first and then gets a connection back in. So I pretty much don't use any of these anymore. I just use the import because it's so simple. I've got Billy here, so all you got to do is you grab Billy, you drop him over there, and it loads up your config. So there's a lot of other ways to do this. I'll apply this. I probably shouldn't have applied that because I wanted to show you the SSH key stuff because that's probably quite important for some people. Maybe might do another video where I go into a bit more depth about the SSH stuff and the way that you can do that. But that's pretty much the node done now. It's configured. You could leave it now and it will start passing benchmarks and whatnot. So if we go here, you can see we're downloading the chain. This is streaming off another node that I've got on the same network. In order for the chain streaming to work, you must be using UPnP because it uses that to detect other nodes on the network. So if we have a look at this interface here, we've got this settings here. You can reconfigure your Fluxnode. It's grayed out until the install finishes. Reconfigure network, check for new version. These things obviously coming soon. And you've got your power options. So if you wanted to shut down or reboot, don't click these now, otherwise you'll have to go through and start the chain download again. So we'll just cancel that. So you can see we've got some action happening here. We've got sync thing online. That's because we've finished our config, so it knows what ports it needs to use, that sort of thing. Same with Fluxbench, that's now running. Obviously FluxD can't run until the chain's downloaded, and FluxOS comes online after FluxD has run. You've got some metrics down the bottom. You can see the memory being used, whether you've got UPnP enabled, your API port. This will be grayed out for you guys, so you can't see my public IP. At the moment, it only updates once when the app started. So if your IP changes by your network provider, it won't be reflected on the screen. So that will change soon. We will get that fixed. You get some other information here as well, like node uptime, load, that sort of thing. This interface is very basic at the moment. We're working on the underlying features. Obviously being able to reconfigure the network is probably something that we need to be able to do. So these features will come. We just need to get the ground features in first. For example, you can't see the benchmark status. Like that's an obvious thing that you should be able to see here. Same with a lot of the FluxD status. There's a lot of information. There's an entire page where we're going to display the logs, that sort of thing, just to make your life a lot easier you should be able to look at this at a glance and be able to get an understanding of what's going on with the node and that sort of thing. So you can see we've been going for 4 minutes here. This is since we first booted on the install. We've now got our chain download is finished. This streams the chain and untars it at the same time, so you don't have to wait for it to download the file and then untar it. It all happens all at once. So that's Fluxd is now running. From here there's a bit of a 30-second delay on FluxOS to allow Fluxd to start. I probably could start it sooner if we wanted, but yeah, it's neither here nor there. So when we first started this node, it went out and checked if there was an update. Since this is the latest update now, it won't, obviously there's nothing for it to update to, so it'll just stay on this version. If there was an update, you would get a modal overlay screen here that's saying, hey, there's an update, we're updating now, and then your node would reboot, and then you'd run through the install on the brand new version. Cool, we can see FluxOS has come online, that's great. Now there's just a couple of other services that get started in the background. There's a slight delay on those so that everything can get aligned. But you can see now we've been booted for 6 minutes and we're very close to being online. Normally once you're finished there's the shell login option here. Oh, there we go. Done. So now we've got our shell login option. So I'll just show you this really quick. And you get your commands that you can run. So we'll just log out and we'll go back in here and that's it. Yeah, so we're good to go. So the benchmarks, actually we'll go back in. The benchmarks are just running now. Let's just have a look. Cool. So they'll complete in the next couple of minutes and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.